Coming up on Volusia Magazine, we audit a brew class on tap at Daytona State College. Get details on how to uncover hidden sugars in our diets and voyage to the final frontier. Those stories and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. Volusia County residents know that our area is an industry leader in hospitality and tourism, bar none. And Daytona State College is proactively responding to those economic demands. Kevin Captain has all the brew details.
Everyone knows what a traditional classroom looks like. But in responding to the needs of the hospitality industry in Volusia County, Daytona State College has taken the traditional classroom and turned it into one heck of a hoppy place.
Chef Magoulas, this lab used to be 2 classrooms that you converted into the Beverage Science Laboratory.
Well,
Can you walk us through how this became a classroom?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because this is our main classroom. We have the brewing system behind us, but we wanted to make the system just like the industry. Wanted you to walk into a brew pub, you just walked into a brew pub. This is a system set up. The students will sit here at the bar. The instructor is behind the bar lecturing. The big screen TVs are the PowerPoint projections. So all of the work takes place right here. So they'll get the feel of, oh, this is what the place really looks like. So when they leave here, they've got that hands-on experience. And the instructors love it because they're right there with the students. The beer taps and everything are right around them. This is exactly like, if you had a bar, I would build it just like this.
As an ideal destination for vacationers with over 10 million visitors annually, the restaurant and hospitality industry is immersed with opportunity in Volusia County. New trends and complexity in making beverages are germinating nationwide. And with a hospitality payroll more than $700 million, tourists and locals are thirsty for fulfilling their palates with these crafty beverages. And this is where Daytona State College is proactively responding. Some of Daytona State College's highest growth programs are offered through the Maury Hosseini College of Hospitality and Culinary Management.
This unique program is the only one of its kind in the state of Florida, and only one of 4 in the country. It teaches not only making beer and wine, but also everything from behind the bar to every aspect of beverage science.
The Hospitality Beverage Science Certificate Program has been fermenting in the college's plans for several years. But just how did they see this future frothiness pouring in?
We had to get all the information from the county and, to see if there was a need for it. We found there was over 55,000 hospitality employees in Volusia County, the #1 employer in the county. And we said, yes, there's people there. Now, of that 55,000, how many of those people would be affected by this class? And we came back with a figure between 15 and 20,000, because this would be front of the house, the beverage operators that were operating, purchasing, the things that go on in the restaurants and hotels. And they needed more training in that area. So we saw a niche there.
More and more people are learning how to make their own wine or brew their own beer. And this once hobby for many has transformed into craft breweries and wineries, pumping itself into specialized jobs needed for the industry. So Chef Magoulas and his team excitedly tapped into this growing market with a 10-course accredited program in what has become a $1.2 million laboratory as its classroom. And today, our local entrepreneurial interest is boiling over.
When we first started this program years ago, there were no brew pubs in Daytona Beach. They were just coming. Finally, we started our class, 1 brew pub opened. And now we have 8 or 9 and more are coming. The trend in brew pubs is really growing. In Florida, I believe there's over 350 brew pubs in the state of Florida, and they project there'll be over 1,000 within the next few years.
Surely this isn't your average classroom. One might think it would be cool coming into class to taste beer and wine, but these students become much like a sommelier using their technical taste and pairing approaches, not actually consuming the beverage.
Sure, they enjoy coming in, tasting beer and wine. It's a taste and spit. But when you go to those classes, you'll be amazed how serious they are in the class, because they have to grade the tasting of the wines, and you'll see them in class going, it's too red, it's not red enough. And then we wanted to also do brewing of beer because we knew that was very big. This class is not devoted just to beer. It is through the entire program of beverage management, sanitation, beverage operations, beer and wine essentials, how you purchase. I mean, it has 10 classes. In hospitality, profits are about 40 to 60% based on hospitality beverage. Now, a lot of people don't realize that. They think the money comes from the food and the rooms. It doesn't. Hospitality beverage is really the driver behind that. So the more knowledge they have in that, the better employer they're going to be. So our students coming out of this program will be better prepared to fill those jobs. They'll be able to figure out how to serve that wine, how to store that wine, how to buy that wine, what foods go with that. Same thing with beers. They're going to be able to have the opportunity to taste beers from around the world. That's part of our classes now. And there's a big science now of matching beers with food.
With over 1.3 million workers in the state of Florida involved in the hospitality industry, today's market for beverages is rising, and this new beverage program at Daytona State College is sure to quench those trending educational demands for Volusia County and beyond. For Volusia Magazine,
To beer.
I'm Kevin Captain.
Volusia.org is your online county government resource. View the County Council agenda and meeting calendar, as well as review past meeting minutes and archived video and audio. Save time and bypass the lines by going online to register your car or boat, pay a bill, and much more. Plus, you can use the site to discover activities, workshops, and ways to become involved with your community. Volusia.org is your portal to everything Volusia County. Those sugary snacks in the vending machine are not so sweet for your health. In this week's Community Health Matters, Dr. Holly Smith explains the dangers of too much added sugar and gives us tips for healthy snacking.
Snacks can be deadly. It can be up to 30% of your day's calories. So be careful when you're choosing your snacks.
Oh, say it isn't so. A couple chocolate chip cookies never hurt anybody, right? Well, it's not the cookie. It's the sugar in the cookie, or in the Pop-Tart, or even in processed foods that you did not think had sugar. And the problem? Well, all that sugar adds up to spelled trouble. Big trouble. That's T-R-O-U-B-L-E.
The research is pretty clear. Too much excessive sugar, too much added sugar, increases the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and also obesity.
So where is all this delicious but deadly sugar hiding? Well, it's in nearly everything that has more than one ingredient. It's in yogurt. It's also in energy bars and protein bars that people buy because they think they're healthy. Well, don't just think, know how much added sugar you're eating. All you have to do is read the label, and the best foods don't have a label. They don't need one. It's just one whole ingredient.
The best, of course, is getting your fruits and vegetables in. There's not going to be any added sugar, of course, only one ingredient. So if you combine the fruits and vegetables with things like your almond butter, your peanut butter, you can do that with celery, you can do that with other vegetable sticks. Also, you could have your whole grain crackers with tuna. Tuna is a great source of protein, and you combine that with something without added sugar but still crunchy and satisfying. This is great because it only has 3 ingredients, so it's very minimally processed, not too much processing going on. And again, you can tell by the 3 grams of fiber that it's a whole food.
And there's no sugar.
There's no added sugar, and the first ingredient's whole grain. So that's a great option there.
So you have 2 types of crackers. This one, does it matter?
So this is enriched flour as the first ingredient. So we really don't have any nutritional value at all here.
And you have 1 sugar
We have 1 gram of sugar.
for 5 crackers.
Yeah.
Who eats 5 crackers?
Yeah. It can be quite, it can be addictive to some people because it's that white flour. So you got to be careful.
Choose this
Yeah,
type of
this
product.
you're going to
over that
feel
type
more
of product.
satisfied because of the fiber, and it's a whole grain.
Here's a tip when you get that mid-morning craving and need a snack. Avoid the vending machine and the processed food it's peddling. When it's processed, it's likely high in sugar and therefore high in calories, empty calories with nearly no nutritional value. Instead of popping $1 in the machine, try popping your own popcorn in canola oil or coconut oil. Bag it up and take it with you for an on-the-go sugarless treat. Or, here's an easy one, make your own trail mix.
This could be breakfast, this could be snacks, but I've got 3 food groups in here. So I use the wheat checks, but you could use any whole grain cereal, the Cheerios, you could use Quaker Oat squares are good. And then whatever favorite nut or seed you like, whether it's sunflower seeds, almonds, cashews, pecans, and I put some raisins in there. So this is a great grab and go. You can put this in Ziploc bags, have it convenient on your counter, put it with your fruit bowl so that you have some good healthy choices when you know you're going to have a busy day and you don't have time to prep anything. It'll be already prepped and done for you.
These tips can help you cut back on the amount of added sugar you eat throughout the day. Your daily goal is 50 grams or less of added sugar. That's no more than 12 teaspoons total when you add up breakfast, lunch, dinner, your drinks, and those snacks. If you really want to go for the gold, cut those 12 teaspoons in half. That's 6 teaspoons of sugar, or about 24 grams of added sugar every day.
It can be a little bit of a challenge to get used to reducing your sugar so that you're down to that 50 grams or less every day. If you're looking for more information on how to do that, there are 2 websites you can go to. One of them is the American Heart Association. The other one is Harvard Health. For the Florida Department of Health right here in Volusia County, I'm Dr. Holly Smith.
The Volusia County Council meets on the 2nd floor of the Thomas C. Kelly Administration Center, located at 123 West Indiana Avenue in DeLand. Public participation begins at 9:30 a.m. and the meeting agenda starts at 10 a.m. A live video stream is available at volusia.org/audio, and agendas are posted at volusia.org/agenda. Future meeting dates are available online at volusia.org.
The Daytona Beach Half Marathon is back and better than ever with 2 days of racing February 9th and 10th. Hit the sand Saturday for the Beach in It 5K, followed by a party and bonfire. Then Sunday, take on the Half Marathon or Lap the Track 5K, both starting on the track at Daytona International Speedway and finishing at 1 Daytona. Want more miles? Check out our challenges. All runners earn awesome swag, including a free ticket to the NASCAR races on Sunday, February 10th. Register today at DaytonaBeachHalf.com.
Volusia County is home to the world's most famous beach, and millions flock to soak in our limitless sunshine. But when the sun sinks below the horizon, there is a spot in Daytona Beach where you can soak in the stars.
Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University is globally recognized as a leader in aviation and aerospace education. A visit to the Daytona Beach School reveals the campus's remarkable art and architecture. Overlooking it all and hidden in plain sight is Florida's largest telescope. Perched atop the school's College of Arts and Sciences building is a 1-meter, 2-ton Ritchie-Krachin reflecting telescope. On a normal day, students and faculty harness the power of the telescope to study objects in our solar system and beyond. However, for a handful of days, the Embry-Riddle Astronomy Club invites the public to get up close to this behemoth and get a glimpse of the heavens.
The telescope itself is a 1-meter diameter mirror, Ritchie-Krachin reflecting telescope. So it's got a big old mirror. You take light down the barrel of the telescope, you focus it to a point, and then you focus the light straight down the back of the telescope. And a lot of people have this understanding of the telescope as being something that a researcher will sit at and look through for hours and hours and hours. But the reality of it nowadays is that astronomy is much more computer-based. So when you're using a telescope, you're using it to take images, you're using it to take take spectrum from objects like stars and galaxies and nebulae. And so what's great about our telescope here on campus is not only is it one of the larger research telescopes in the region, but it's very, very accessible to the student community. I know that there are classes every semester. I'm fortunate enough to get to take one soon that are going to let me, as an undergraduate student, get to use the telescope.
The giant telescope is just one of many exhibits to celebrate our night skies. Prior to the doors opening for the club's open house, the school brings in some of the world's top researchers to present their findings in a public lecture at the Willie Miller Auditorium.
How many people are pro-Mars colonization?
The club is great because it's kind of this amalgamation of all sorts of students with these broad, varied backgrounds. We get the engineers and the pilots and the astronomers, but what's really great about it is that there's just so much depth and variety to our group here that it kind of creates this really incredible culture of students who are interested in astronomy. And I think the club's great like that just because we get to explore the hobby together and we get to learn all this new stuff that a lot of times students wouldn't have access to. It's a great opportunity because you can also learn so much, but in presenting it, I think that members of the club also take a lot out of it. You get this experience with public speaking and doing demos and kind of showing off your public service side of the club in addition to the educational side of the club. And I think that the open house is one of those incredible opportunities for STEM outreach, really. So you can take your kid here, you can show people how science works, you can do physics demonstrations, you can get them interested in science and technology and engineering at a really young age, which I think is really important, especially in today's society. It's so important to advance technological research and all that kind of stuff. And then the other half of it is adults really get out a lot out of it, just because it's learning something that a lot of members of the Daytona community haven't necessarily gotten an opportunity to explore. It's space and the stars and physics. So it's really great to kind of bring that out from kind of hiding and really showcase what the campus has in terms of scientific technology. I have just so enjoyed my time with this club because it's a great group of people and we really do incredible things and we put on these awesome events that I think are really rewarding and fun for the community, and it's been a great opportunity for the greater Daytona area and for the school itself.
Ready for your voyage into the final frontier? The next open house is dependent on the upcoming total lunar eclipse occurring January 20th through the 21st in 2019. To get more information on the Embry-Riddle Astronomy Club and future open house dates, visit the Embry-Riddle Daytona Beach Observatory website at observatory.db.erau.edu.
Hi, I'm Josh Wagner.
And I'm Billy Wheeler. During the planning stages of the Tom Stead Veteran Memorial Bridge, people voiced their desire to have a Veterans Memorial Plaza on the northwest side of the bridge.
The Veterans Memorial Plaza will create a special place in our community for people to reflect and connect with our fallen heroes.
The proposed concept for the new Veterans Memorial Plaza is estimated to be a $1.2 million endeavor.
Your donation will help us create a special place in our community in which we can honor Volusia County veterans from all military branches and military conflicts. To help fund our Veterans Memorial Plaza, visit veteransmemorialbridge.com or call Volusia County Accounting at 386-736-5933.
We appreciate your support to create this lasting memorial for those who have served and continue to serve our country.
Clean, drinkable water. Everyone wants it. Everyone deserves it. If you suspect a problem with your source of water, it's never been easier to check with at-home kits. Volusia County Extension Services' Dennis Mudge walks us through the process to have your water tested in Solutions for Your Life.
We're going to talk about something very important today. We get a lot of calls from people who say, I don't feel well and I think it's in the water. Well, we're going to test that out today. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. So what are these phone calls I get? They're about water. People are paranoid these days. They say, I don't feel well, and I think it's in the water. Well, you know what? We no longer have to worry about these types of things because now the science is here so you can know if it's your water or not. Do you know that there's a filter in every one of your faucets, whether it's water from your refrigerator or if it's from the faucet? And those filters need to be cleaned regularly. You can screw them off. If there's a problem, you can get a new one. And that can be a simple way you could have bacteria and be a little sick. But you know, that's not usually what people are calling me about. They're usually calling me about, I think there's something polluted in the water. Well, you know what? Now we have test kits. Okay, so we have numerous tests in here. You got lead, too much chlorine, nitrates. You can test for pesticides, and of course the serious one, bacteria, E. coli. Real simple test kits, 20 bucks online, you can buy one, and the tests that are in here are simple. What they do is they test for things like lead and for chemicals, and you can do them yourself, and you can know for sure your water's safe. Now you say, public water? Well, public water's tested regularly, but if you're so sure it's your water, be sure, test it again. What's to hurt to have a second test? But you folks that have your own well, no one's testing that well but you. You need to do this at least once a year to be sure that your water coming from your well is very safe. Take each one of those tests out and follow the instructions. Do it yourself. And they're color-coded, so if it's bad, comes up the color it indicates, and you know right away you've got a problem. A good point to remember when you're doing these tests is to run the water for a little while. Why would you want to do that? Well, you don't want to test the water in the pipes. You want to test the water from the source. So you run it for a little while first before you test, and you know it says that in the instructions, but just remember that. So these tests are simple. Anybody can do it at home. Take this one for instance. All you do is screw off the cap, follow the exact instructions the way it tells you, put a little water in there, it goes in with this agent that's in here, swirl it around and it changes to the color, and it will either be the color that is polluted or the color that's not. So it's very simple, anybody can do it. You don't have to be a home scientist. My heavens, 20 bucks? And know you're safe? Now what do you do if it turns bad? Well, then you get a hold of me at the extension office and I'll tell you what the next steps are. But to know this so simple, and to test your water and to find out, to check your filters in your refrigerator, to check your filters in your faucets, and to be sure that you've got safe water, what a great idea. This is not brain surgery, folks, and the science has stepped up. It's all right here. Doesn't need to go to a lab. You can do it yourself. Remember, the science has changed. This is not something you have to worry about anymore. Go online, order yourself a kit, and do this test 1, 2, 3 with solutions for your life. This is Dennis Smudge.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Recruiting businesses into our area involves a lot of hard work and sweat equity to network and build relationships. But sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. Joanne Magley caught up with the Consul General of Canada in Miami during her recent visit to Daytona Beach.
Hi, Hi, I'm Joanne Magley, Community Information Director for Volusia County Government, and I am joined today by Ms. Susan Harper. She is the General Counsel of Canada in Miami. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome to Volusia County. You're here on a visit today, and we'll get to those details in just a minute. But first, talk about, explain what Consul General is.
Well, most people have heard of a consul, who is a representative of a foreign government. Consul General is the more senior version of that. The Consul General is the person who is the senior representative of the country in this region. So my area of responsibility is Florida, Puerto Rico, and USVI. The Consulate General is the office. So I'm the Consul General, the office is the Consulate General.
You're going to be talking to some key stakeholders in Volusia County, really about economic development, but more importantly, the strong relationship that there is with Canada and Florida, and particularly Volusia County, when it comes to economic development. So talk about some key findings that you'll be talking about from a recent report.
Well, I'm here because Keith Norden, who's the president and CEO of Team Volusia, heard a presentation that I made in Orlando at the Florida Chamber's International Business Committee. And one of the things that he heard there was we have 3.5 million Canadian visits to Florida last year. 18% of them are here in the greater Daytona region, and that was the reason he invited me down, and that was the reason I was glad to have the opportunity to come down. I think a lot of people know there are a lot of Canadian tourists, although we pass invisible among you sometimes, because what does a Canadian look like? Unless we're speaking French or we're in the ocean in January, you probably don't recognize us as Canadians. So people often underestimate the contribution that tourism makes to a trade and international economic relationship. But if you add the 3.5 million tourists, many of whom are snowbirds, which explains why Canadians are the ~1 international purchasers of residential real estate in Florida, about $4 billion a year, and you add that to about $8-9 billion in trade in goods and services, and an investment of about, almost 500 companies, Canadian companies based here in Florida, 40,000 jobs, creating over 600,000 jobs. We have a very important economic relationship between Canada and Florida.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, and we hope you enjoy your visit here to Volusia County, and we hope to have you back again soon.
Oh, it's lovely. It's very charming here, and you see the beach as I woke up to this morning, and you hear the cars on the speedway. I understand why so many Canadians come here.
Well, have a great trip.
Thank you so much, Joanne.
Stay connected with the latest Volusia County news, events, and updates on our social media channels. Like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Catch up with previous stories on YouTube, or just head over to our website, volusia.org. That wraps up this edition of Volusia Magazine. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond. Have a wonderful evening.